All right, guys, when it's time to actually start your research paper, the first thing you're going to do is make a brand new Word document and go to File, Save As, OneDrive, Clear Creek ISD, and look for your English 4 folder. This is just my example one, so I'll stick it in there. We'll call this Research Paper Garland Example. So you could just call yours Research Paper and your last name will be fine, so I know who's writing what, and then save it. And so long as it's inside that English 4 folder, I can get to it at any time and you can get to it at any time, so it can be graded, right? All right, so now I have this beautiful blank document. I'm going to go to my instructions, and I'm on the second stamp sheet called Drafting a Research Paper. Here's the rubric, so I always want to check back to see what I need to have, but I've already done steps 1, which was to organize my information, create my works cited, and create in-text citations. So what that would look like is organizing information is over here on my research notes. I've given some labels to the different facts that I have. I have started my in-text citations right here. There's a different video that shows you how to do those. And then the last thing was my works cited, where I copied and pasted my citations over here in ABC order, and these are just going to sit. This will be one of the later things that I do, is I'll pull these to my document, but I don't need them now. So I just let them sit there. So that's all done. So now it is time to start step 4, which is actually writing the paper. So when I go to write the paper, the first thing I need to do is develop my position statement. So step 1 of writing the paper is your position statement. Now, some things about the position statement. I want you to take a stand or argue. It's going to be a persuasive paper, right? So my research question was, how do you treat PTSD? Right? And so I did a bunch of research and I found a lot of information about some ways that you can treat it. And so now that I go write my paper, I'm not going to just call it, not going to do treatments for PTSD, right? I'm not going to do that because that is way boring and not persuasive with an S. All right, so what I am going to do is make it into an actual position statement, a position where I'm going to say we need to be doing more to help veterans who struggle with PTSD, right? You want to sound like you're starting a fight. So first step, take a stand or argue. So write your position statement actually on the paper, and I'm going to leave mine here and I'm going to highlight it. So this is what I'm going to say in my paper. I'm going to say we need to be doing more to help veterans who struggle with PTSD. So now I'm going to go start to write my introduction. And of course, we know that the best way, it's called good ways to start an introduction would be, or this is really called a hook. I guess I'll put a different kind of bracket, hook. Would be something like a quote, a simple statement, a statistic, a bombshell, like where you drop some important piece of information. Any of those might be a good option. So in this case, we just happen to have some statistics, right, that we have gathered from our facts. In fact, I believe I labeled one intro right here. So I'm not going to just copy and paste this over here to use. I'm just copying and pasting it so I don't have to go back and forth. And so I'm going to say this, and I'll say, it is estimated that as many as 10% of women and 5% of men will experience post-traumatic stress disorder sometime in their life or in their lifetime. Okay, now that still sounds way, way similar to this guy, and that is okay, because what we're going to do is I've arranged it into as close to my own words as I can, but really it's a statistic, so there's not much you can do with it. But the most important thing is what happens next. I am going to make a space before that period, and I am about to tell you exactly where this fact came from. It came from an article that has an in-text citation of post-traumatic stress. If I were to go to my works cited, it's this right here. So I'm saying this is where that information came from. I am not claiming to have it as my own. I am borrowing it simply from this other article, and a period goes at the end of it. And so there we go. Apparently my period went down here, but we'll just delete him. So it is estimated this many as 10%, 5% of students. Okay. So then I'll say many of these are veterans of our military and okay, military. Too often we fail to help those who need the most help after witnessing horrific things in the heat of battle. In fact, we need to be doing more to help veterans who struggle with PTSD. All right, and I'm actually going to go back up here and I'm going to put PTSD in parentheses so that I'm indicating that this stands for that. Now, weirdly, it has different fonts, so I'll just go do that. All right, now I go and check, because I should always check that rubric. And do I have everything from an introduction? Oh, look, there's a little list for me here. Have I have a clear position statement? I would say yes. My position statement is right here. We need to be doing more to help veterans who struggle with PTSD. Okay, there it is. All right, what else? Do I introduce some supporting ideas? Well, not yet, so I'll need to go back and do that. Do I have some basic background information? Use a hook. I think I've got a little bit of those. I definitely have a hook, right? And this also gives you a bit of basic background information. Witnessing horrific things in the heat of battle, that's background information. I've also introduced, I guess I have introduced my topic a little bit. In fact, I'm going to maybe a little bit more. I'll say effective treatments for PTSD often require almost immediate interaction with sufferers, because that is true. I found that in my facts. I'm kind of summarizing something and I'll put the real fact in later. So that would be my intro. I've given a little hint of what's coming. I'm going to talk about how to effectively treat it. I'm going to give you this position. And so that is the hook, the intro, the position.